And its Eurozone partners met last week but failed to reach a deal. Experts say Athens is edging closer to defaulting on its international loans. Some believe this could lead to Greece leaving the single euro currency. Greece has ordered its public sector bodies to hand over any reserve cash to help it repay the International Monetary Fund nearly €1 billion in May. The Greek government is also struggling to pay its pensioners and public sector workers. Joining us now with the latest is CCTV reporter Owen Fairclough. Owen, thanks for joining us. Just as we said, there was another meeting before the weekend, but still no deal. Why not?
And the problem essentially boils down to this. The EU won't give Greece any more financial help until it thinks it's serious about reform. We're talking a whole host of measures like preventing tax evasion and essentially making big savings so that the government is leaner and a bit more competitive. Now, this government came into office 3 months ago promising to get rid of that infamous A word, austerity, and that tends to mean spending a bit more, not less. Now, those talks you mentioned before the weekend got very bitter. The Greek finance minister was reportedly called an amateur. The Greeks are now trying to take the sting out of that a little bit by reshuffling their team, bringing some fresh faces in for those negotiations, and yet we now have the rather ominous phrase Plan B doing the rounds in Europe. Ministers are lining up to say there is no Plan B. That's the prospect of Greece crashing out of the Eurozone. And indeed, recently, the European Union's Economic Affairs Commissioner told me that he bet both his career and credibility on Greece remaining in what he called an irreversible union.
But Owen, Greece needs money quickly. It's running out of money, isn't it?
It absolutely is running out of money. We get various estimates. We're told that maybe Greece can survive until June. It's in that classic situation of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Greece has dipped into the coffers of towns and cities around the country, and mayors are in open revolt over this. The problem is Greece has to find about $30 billion this year to pay back investors and those creditors who paid for those two huge bailouts. Now, a big chunk of that money has to be repaid over the next few months, hence the current panic. It does sound pretty dire, but if Greece can make it through this year, its outstanding debts will drop around 2/3 from 2016 onwards.
You know, Owen, one can't help thinking to many people this is a sort of Greek Groundhog Day, you know, that movie. It's the same crisis from the last few years on repeat. But you think there's a big difference this time, don't you?
And one big difference, Russia. Vladimir Putin is, of course, a pariah at the moment for the European Union. It sanctioned President Putin over the Ukraine crisis. In retaliation, Russia had banned food imports from most European Union countries. And yet Russia is making an exception for Greece, preparing to resume buying its food. Another big player, China. It's buying a majority stake in the port of Athens. So you have two big powers investing in and trading with Greece. Both of them could provide alternative bailouts should Greece go under.